two different areas that I teach here. One is called aquaculture, which is the cultivation of fish and the growing of plants in water, which is hydroponics. The second area that I teach is your basic agricultural program, which we deal with outdoors, the gardens, greenhouses, and so forth. Introductory classes, we start at square one, step one, and just give them the fundamental basis in science for plant biology, marine biology, water chemistry. So upper level classes, they are running chemical tests on the water, they are tending to the biological needs of the fish, they are maintaining the mechanical systems of the mechanical parts of the system. So I really do take them by the hand and grow them into the program. Primary goal of the program to give them real world experience and hands-on activities to take what they learn in the classroom or even back at their home schools in their science classes and really apply it to real world circumstances.
Safety is the very first and most important thing that they learn. And then from there, we add the systems of the automobile and electrical.
You got the battery, you got the wiring. You got to have an alternator in a modern car.
This is going to have to come off.
When they learn their electrical, then we go into electronics, and then we go back to the systems. We start normally with brakes and then steering and suspension and so forth to get their feet wet.
He'll bring in people's cars and you'll get to work on their cars and real life situations like what you get to do in an actual shop. Anything that you need to do to your car, that's what you'll learn. Tire machines, any kind of tool, anything you need to take anything off, put anything on, anything to charge a battery, change a battery, tires. It's like a replica of it. I mean, it's spot on.
The students, when they come in, our ultimate goal is for them to be in the field working. That's what we so desire from them the most. 100% placement for qualified students. And then once they have gone through breaks, as a general rule, I can place them after that. We've got a good working relationship with the dealerships in town. We always try to make sure that we place students where they would fit most comfortably.
First thing we do is tape measure. I mean, they come in not knowing how to read a tape measure, and everything we do is with a tape measure. So first thing we do is hit them with the tape measure. They learn the tape measure, they learn the safety rules. Once they go hands-on, they get excited and they're good. I've had college professors tell me they don't have what we have right here at TCTA, and that's big. The students that are coming in, they've got an advantage over just about every student, high school student in the state.
I learned how to measure, how to use tools correctly, safety, and I learned how to make stairs, how to build a table as I'm doing now.
One of the things we have is a saw stop table saw. If a student messes up and gets his finger in the saw, it stops immediately and it doesn't cut him.
I love it because it's teaching them how to be successful and how to prepare for your future.
Our curriculum, they're teaching that at the junior college level, so we're actually giving the high school student a junior college curriculum that men from the industry are coming back to Shelton State and different places, and they're taking this course. So they're getting it in high school, getting the same course, and I've got men in the industry that will hire our students right out of high school if they pass every module.
What you want to end up with is a very professional piece so that it looks like some of the tags we looked at yesterday that are for sale on Etsy. We start at the very beginning with how to load the software, how to save files, how to create new documents, new files, and we move on to the more advanced features. This is a fantastic lab. We do have the ability with dual monitors to use electronic learning tools. We use online learning systems as well, so it's just a great opportunity for our students to have the opportunity to excel in those products and earn credentials that prove to the world that they do have those skills. We also have some very unique equipment in our programs. For example, some of the products that we can make in our classes. In multimedia design, we not only learn how to use the software, but we learn how to take those software products and apply designs to products that are marketable. So it takes the skills and puts them into real world products that the students can take the design knowledge and apply it to things that they're able to see. So that it looks like a piece that somebody would get on a storefront online.
This is your balance. Around the top, up this way.
Once we start the hands-on procedure, making sure they know the procedures as far as from beginning to end, it becomes a little easier. The more they see, the more they're able to do. We have a salon area, we have a spa area, and we have a facial area, which all students get a chance to participate in all areas of the cosmetology field, and we also teach barbering.
Learn how to do hair, learn how to wash hair, how to treat hair.
They have to first know where cosmetology came from the beginning to the end, and it becomes a better understanding of the different techniques that we do now.
I'm into doing nails, so having the station back there for nail tech I like it.
It allows them to be able to take the things that were in the past and transform them into the future.
This school allows them the opportunity to come out here and actually wire up things, mount boxes like they would in a real world scenario.
Right now we're wiring up boxes, we're wiring up lights, so you turn on the switch and the light will come on.
The first thing I start them off with is safety. Safety is always the utmost important aspect of any kind of construction job is safety. If you're hurt, you can't work, you're not doing anybody any good. But as far as electrical goes, I just try to teach them how electricity works, why it works, and the most important thing is how to work on it safely. Try to teach them that. I teach them about voltage, current, and resistance. That's the three basic aspects of electrical work, and it takes them a little while to grasp that concept, but once they do, things seem to progress pretty quickly after that. This school is fully equipped. You could run a small to medium-sized electrical contracting business out of this school. I mean, we've got benders, electric benders. We've got benders for industrial use, commercial use. We've got everything you would ever need for residential applications. The school is very well equipped as far as tools go.
Drills, hammers, screws, wire strippers, multimeters, all kind of stuff.
When I was younger and I did my apprenticeship, we had nothing like this. It was all book work, and we had to get our experience out there in the real world, finding a job with an electrical contractor. When these guys leave here, they'll have practical experience as well as book work experience. And it should be a huge advantage for them.
It's real cool because, you know, this is all free. So we get to learn it all, and a bunch of people are paying for it.
To give them the understanding of how much is at stake by one little mistake, I think is probably the hardest thing to teach. The biggest part of us is hands-on. Once we learn about the different types of equipment, the reason why we do patient assessments and all the important things, then we're able to take them and let them actually practice it.
We get to actually learn hands-on, firsthand, what the actual occupation brings for us if we ever decide to want to be paramedics or firefighters.
It's an equal combination depending on the class. I do have emergency services out here, so it's more heavily the EMS side of it, but then my intro to fire and my advanced firefighting is going to be a lot more advanced. There's a lot more firefighting things going on than actual EMT stuff.
I've learned a lot of basic medical things like how to check vitals, CPR, checking the pulses, how to load a patient onto the stretcher.
She might be injured.
Maybe hurt worse.
Emergency service is one of them. They also have principles of public safety, intro to fire, and then advanced firefighting.
and a bow. Slide it over your head. Why would you not want to tie it in a knot? When you pop it off, you could pop germs. In our lower level class in Foundations of Health Science, we introduce them to all the different healthcare careers and introduce them into infection control and just try to give them some real life examples of what we have seen in the medical field before and see if it's something that they're interested in. Teach them the medical terminology, teach them what actually is going to be required of them when they go into college or into a workplace.
I learned cultural diversity, CPR, height and weight, vision, things in that category.
If that is something that they're interested in, then they will continue into our more advanced courses and get some actual hands-on experience in the hospital or in the clinic of their choice.
It seemed real to me because like all these equipment we have here, it seemed like when I get in the real world, it'll be like the same thing.
Being able to teach them the concept in the book work that they do in a lecture and then actually get to perform it, it just helps it solidify their experience. And then on top of that, when they actually get to go out into the healthcare facilities, we have a great setup here, which helps the actual patient care, the real life patient care that they're able to give, even a more smooth transition.
In information technology, we focus more on the hardware side and the operating side of our computers.
I've learned the basic components of the computer, how to take it apart, the basic firmware, basic software, how to troubleshoot problems with the software, how to install programs.
Generally, most of the students that come now has a lot of interest in computing and information technology, so they have a little bit of experience already. So what I try to do is find out those experiences that they already have and try to build on those. But we really start with just the hardware side and just try to familiarize them with things that they are already familiar with. You know, just the components itself, the different devices that they attach to computers. We have the online courses, then we have a lot of sample hardware.
One, you get that real life experience of having to work with the computers, and two, it just kind of prepares you for what you'll have to work with.
And all we did was add dimensions, do dimensions for these.
Engineering pathway is set up in such a way that you learn different parts of engineering along the way. So the first class is set up so that we learn how to think like an engineer, learn about the different types.
It tells me which kind of engineer I want to be in.
Then we move into the actual math. And so we kind of ease into it along the way. The second class, we learn about all the different types of math that's involved with, from materials testing to thermodynamics to how to calculate a truss system.
I learned a lot about dealing with engineering, like buildings.
Very structured program. After that, then we get into some of the different types of specific engineering. So we have a class specifically dedicated to civil engineering. You can also take, we're going to be adding classes that you can take classes in computer science. We take everybody's background knowledge and the different types and combine it all in that senior design course at the end.
I like how we can bring students together from different schools to work together.
Engineering is a tough field, and if you want to go into it, that's great. But it's good to have that knowledge beforehand and know whether or not that this is your thing.
Look how beautiful that is. Look how beautiful that is.
It's designed as a sports medicine fundamentals course, a intermediate course, and an advanced level course. I do not see a time that we're not going to have sports because we're by nature very competitive. We basically have implemented cardiovascular equipment so that we can teach them about a concept behind exercise physiology, what the body experiences when you're stressing the cardiovascular system, okay, not just the heart, not just the lungs, but everything, and understanding what the body experiences.
She goes over all the concepts of how you're supposed to tape, wrap, and why you're taping and wrapping.
When you're doing cardiovascular conditioning or training, it's a different thing to take those same kids after they just read that and then put them on a piece of equipment and say, okay, now we're going to go until fatigue. And we're going to push past that. And then I want you to tell me what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. They learn real quickly the concepts behind that. And the same thing with the rest of the lab, our cryotherapy lab, everything with all our taping stations, everything we do from spine boarding, the whole 9 yards. We want to make it very hands-on. We want to give them the greatest experience possible. Just address some neatness issues and pressures. You got it. Take that on off. Good job. When you go from a high school setting, if you don't have athletic training experience in a high school setting and you try to get into a college program, the college athletic training education programs are so very competitive. You may have 300 plus applicants in a year at a college setting and only 30 may make it.
Many seniors plan to attend college. Pieces with you about Central High School seniors.
We performed in categories, what does spectacular show from cosmetology students?
I start students off with the basic shooting concept of wide, medium, tight, which is the National Press Photographers Association standards for shooting, so that they can get the overall picture. You can't teach them to have that eye in television of getting that great shot, but you can teach them the basic shooting concept so they can see the big picture, so that they know when they get into the editing room how it's all supposed to come together.
I like the equipment. It's really good for me. It's very good and high tech, and then I like the editing is really good.
And then we move into the advanced shooting from a journalistic concept where students can see how that big picture is supposed to come together with matching words and scripts with pictures or video, if you will, so that they can broadcast it to a mass audience.
Man, how you feeling? Ooh, your brother. I ain't gonna tell you my brother that, dude. What? Yeah. Cut.
Students can take what they learn here in film and digital media really anywhere in the world.
You can be a free person. You can express yourself better and learn a lot.
Students have a stationary set here, but in film we also shoot a lot on location. So the students shoot all around the campus, or they can even check out cameras and shoot all around the city if they choose to, depending on what their storyline is.
We focus a lot on the styles of shooting, the proper way to shoot, how the frame is shot, headroom, nose room, panning, zooming, focus, in focus, out of focus, whether or not that shot is defined, whether or not it tells a story, it speaks to the audience.
Basically, animation is the movement of inanimate objects. Typically, we start with some history of animation. Helps to know what context, like in the case of filmmaking, visual effects, how it ties in, so they know why they're doing it.
I was animating this face right here. You can see the eyebrows going around.
Basically, what we want them to be able to do is to know the 12 principles of animation, to know things about color theory, about timing. Timing is key because you're basically acting through characters. You're making characters and you're moving characters, and you want the characters to seem like living beings that audiences can relate to.
You always get the up-to-date programs and all of that.
For example, in Flash, we were animating a character, and somebody would be animating the head and the mouth. Somebody else was animating the torso and the arm. Somebody else was animating the legs. This helps speed the process along. Almost every film, whether it's even designed to be a special effects movie or an animation film, usually has some kind of animation in it. Just because you can do so many different things that you could not do before.
I just start them at square one, the very basic methods of welding,
and then we move on, and I try to get to advanced welding as quickly as possible so they have a greater chance. If they can't afford to go to college, they can at least leave here and make really good money.
I learned how to TIG some, and before I was just mainly MIGing, and now I can stick weld perfectly, and I'm starting to be able to TIG well. And before I was just doing one type, which was MIG, which is easy, and I'm starting to advance my skill set and learn new things.
Stick welding is the most basic, the most common type of welding that is done in most places. And so I started with stick welding, and then we move on to MIG welding and TIG welding.
I think we have one of the best labs in all of Tuscaloosa, and the program's great, the teacher's great, we have all the materials and everything we could have. It's just a great learning opportunity.
We're blessed enough to have 20 plus welding machines that work properly, in addition to a CNC plasma cutter, multiple torches, handheld plasmas.
Most small schools, even like a lot of the colleges, don't have TIG welding machines, and just the amount of welding machines we have.
They're at a great advantage. There are some mentors to me across the state that have the similar goals for their students. But for the most part, your high school students are not going to TIG weld in other places. And I really push TIG welding. Not everybody agrees with that, but the industry in the local area, they need it, and the students need a chance to get in those jobs. And so I really push TIG welding. So I think in that particular way, they're at an advantage.